Hello students, welcome to this ethics class. Now we will discuss 2024a. Again, you should have attempted this question before watching this video. And ethics is a very subjective paper. You can write your answer in a number of ways. Part A is more subjective. So we are discussing through answers because it is a very effective method of teaching. So distinguish between laws and rules. Discuss the role of ethics in formulating them. So let us see. Laws focus on broad issue. Rules focus on minute details. They focus mainly on technicality. For example, poverty is a broad issue. So to alleviate poverty, we might have a variety of laws. But however, when we talk about technicality or minute details, we can have like income eligibility criteria for BPL households. For example, we can have 1.5 lakh or something, based on which we can categorize poor, below poverty line people and above poverty line people. So rules focus on minute details and technicality, and laws focus on broad philosophy. However, rules are majorly for administrative purpose. For example, philosophy for a law can be equality and empathy. On the other hand, for administrative purpose, we might require documents for schemes. For example, based on equality and empathy, we might have certain social welfare schemes. However, what are the documents that are required so that the scheme becomes applicable comes under the rules part. So laws generally have penal provisions, example jail time, and generally when you violate some rules, you generally do not face such serious actions. You might face disciplinary actions. For example, suspension. So laws generally tend to have penal provisions, more serious consequences like jail time. And laws generally focus on substantive issue. For example, laws might focus on social justice. On the other hand, rules focus on procedural aspect. For example, you might think of a scheme called PM Kisan Yojana or something like that. But how do you transfer the money to the, how will you give the money to the farmers? That you might choose a method called direct benefit transfer. So it comes under the rules, how you do it. So it focuses more on procedural part. Laws focus more on substantive part. So if you can think of any other difference, you can add and explain your answer. And role of ethics. So first of all, if you have to make some laws, we need to be able to identify social issues. We don't make laws just like that. So to identify social issues, we need values. So based on values, we can identify actual issues. For example, using the value of equality and using the value of empathy, we can identify that instant triple talaq is not a good idea. So that for that we need a law that prevents instant triple talaq. So we need certain values based on which we can say that this is a social issue. So we are able to identify social issues so that we can make a law on that. Here you can write a variety of examples which you can think of. And next, it provides philosophy, justification, reasoning, etc. for law, its provisions and punishments. For example, we need a philosophy, we need proper justification, we need proper reasoning for a law. So it provides, values provide proper philosophy, justification, etc. At the same time, they also help in making provisions and in prescribing punishments. For example, punishment could not be very excessive. It should be reasonable, it should match the crime. So for example, equal opportunity is reason for reservation law. So equal opportunity is the philosophy based on which we got a law, reservation law. Here again you can give a variety of examples which you can find. So rules are framed based on values like, now when it comes to rules, we need to see that they are very accurate. For example, we should see that rule of law is followed. We need to see that procedure established by law is followed. We need to see that there is sufficient separation of powers, there is accountability, there is inclusion, equality, objectivity, etc. So we need these values to reflect in rules. If these values are not reflected, it means rules are somewhat wrong. or rules have some wrong intentions. So we need values to check whether rules are proper, whether rules enforce accountability, whether rules have equality, whether they have objectivity, whether there is sufficient separation of powers. So values are essential in making both laws and rules. So if we see, it comes to 112 words. Again, in ethics it is the quality and not the quantity that is important, and 150 words is the maximum words that you should be using. You should be writing well within the 150 words. This will also save time to think for other answers and in writing other answers. So that is it. We need to distinguish between laws and rules, and we need to discuss the role of ethics in formulating them. So that is all. Thank you.